Good morning, everyone. It's Kiana Brown, your forgiveness expert. And I want to thank you for stopping by the Healing Incubator podcast. I'm doing something a little different. I've been in prayer. I've been in hiding, not in hiding from you all, but in hiding so that I could get pretty much some things together within my spirit and my mental. And God has really been dealing with me in a lot of areas of my life. And today's topic is who's holding you up? Who's holding you up? If this is your first time ever tuning into my broadcast, again, my name is Kiana F. Brown, your forgiveness expert. And this is the Healing Incubator podcast, where we're all about truth, forgiveness, and healing. You are probably watching this via Facebook, YouTube. If you're listening to this, thank you for tuning in this morning. And we have over 500 hours worth of content on the Healing Incubator podcast, where you can find us to listen in on a plethora of platforms. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio. There are so many places that you can tap into your healing journey, but I'm so glad that you're here today. So if you are tuning in, please do me a favor. If you are here via social media, StreamYard does require that you allow for us access so that we can see your post. So just go ahead and confirm that you're good with it, and I will be able to see your post, acknowledge you. I do see that we have some people with us this morning. So good morning. Happy Forgiveness Friday. This is a national holiday every week in my world, and I'm just glad that you decided to tap in and join in with me and celebrate today. So there's one other thing that I want to ask you to do right now. If you could please share this stream wherever you are listening. If it is via social media, please share this so that someone else can tap into the healing today. If you are listening by podcast, by audio, you can just go ahead and share the link and just share it out to as many people as possible. This is a journey that we're going on together to encourage one another to operate in the space of truth, forgiveness, and healing. And so today's topic is who's holding you up? Who is holding you up? You know, some of you might have seen on my posts on social media that the mother of Matthew 6:33 Global Ministry, she passed away. And one of the things that my pastor, Apostle Vero Howard, has been graciously thanking people for doing is holding her arms up. There's so many of us who go through many different journeys of healing in our life, whether we've lost a loved one, whether a relationship has ended, whether we need to do something different in our lives as it relates to our health, our mental, whatever that thing is. There are going to be times where we're going to need someone to help hold us up. Even though we may feel that we are the strongest person or people in the United States of America, in the global world, all over, I just want to let you know we're not. We are not as strong as we think we are. We might have strengths in different areas, but we're all going to need someone's support some way in our lives to help hold us up. Now, the other day I was looking through my videos on my phone, and, there's so many different things that we can find or go back and reminisce and have memories of. And I went to a folder of my gallery on my phone, and it's where I had some of the staff, Pooch Styles Pet Grooming. And they were doing short videos, something that I asked them to do to help and support for the business to share, to let our clients know who they are. When you're going to a hairstylist, you're going to a daycare provider, you're going to a pet grooming facility, a doctor. Sometimes it's great to have a video introduction of who you're going to be visiting with, because that will help you have just a little bit more comfort and ease as you are entering to that space with that particular person, that particular professional. And so I was just looking at these videos. These videos are from like maybe 2019, and some of them were like bloopers, but all of a sudden I had a great powering over me that allowed for me to realize that, even though we go through what we go through, with the people that we love, with the people that are in our lives, that in certain situations and circumstances, these are the people that are holding us up. And sometimes we don't even realize, who these people are. We don't realize that they're doing that at that particular time, because I can remember being in the shop, and there are many times that I've had personal issues where they're like family, and we talk about things. It's like an open forum on the floor, like, even though it's a pet grooming salon, you come in there, it's going to be the salon talk sometime. And so it easily reminds you of a hair salon where, you have women in there and they're talking and they're supporting and they're helping each other. And so I just wanted to remind someone today that, you may be that support system for someone whose arms need to be held up in the midst of whatever tragedy or circumstances they might be going through in their time in their lives. And if we look at, what's going on, just literally looking at the media in the area where I live at, in the metropolitan area or the DMV area, there was a shooting where there was a child just sitting in his house, eating his dinner in the evening hours and minding his own business, and a stray bullet came in and took his life. And so that mom, that family, they're going to need someone in this season to help hold their arms up, to lift. I mean, that was, when I heard about that and someone was sharing with me, I could literally see the actions that took place that evening. Even though I wasn't there, it was probably, my own imagination just taking me there, because God has made me a creative to be able to see things visually and not just hear them. But I could see that, and it saddened my heart so, because that was the unexpected. There are some things that are happening in this world, in our lives, that is the unexpected, and we need someone to help hold our arms up. I'm not able to see who's joining us, but let me go on my smartphone and see who's tapping in, because I see that there are a couple of people who are actually tuning in with us on the Healing Incubator podcast. So I just want to usher out a good morning to you all. Good morning, Rochelle. And whoever else that's here. And so I want to remind you that we're going to have to be a support system to one another. We are in some unforeseen times right now. Even though we thought we were coming back out, we thought that things were changing, we were healing, we were growing. It seems like we're digressing. Even yesterday, I was looking at the news, and it showed there was some type of killing in Afghanistan, 12 people who died, just unnecessary things. And there are so many people that are going to need your strength in this world. And that's one portion of it. But here's the second portion. There are so many of us who are going through things, and we feel that we have it all together, and we feel that we're strong enough and that we can deal with life situations and circumstances on our own. And we might be pushing away that person that is going to help us, that person is going to be able to lift us up, that person that's going to be able to encourage us, that person that's going to be able to help us get through the things that we're going through in our life. And, I'm always backing things up biblically. I want, if you can, at this time, if you're listening, if you're driving, please don't do this, but go to 2 Corinthians 7 and 6. Again, 2 Corinthians 7 and 6 through 7. And it says, "But God, who comforts the downcast, comforted us by the coming of Titus, and not only by his coming, but also by the comfort you had given him. He told us about your longing for me, your deep sorrow, your ardent concern for me, so that my joy was then greater than ever." As I read that text, it's talking about Paul. Paul was going, he was going through. I don't know if you all know about Paul in the Bible. Like, he's a really, really strong warrior. In the beginning of his journey, how we meet him in the Bible, he was against he was against Jesus. He was against everything that Jesus stood for. His faith was of something different. Then something happened called the Damascus Road. And as he had that experience on the Damascus Road, it opened up his eyes. It literally opened up his eyes. What happened was he was traveling and he saw Jesus. He became blind. He went to a city, and in that city, God sent him. This is the first time that he sent someone to aid him in his discomfort, right? He sent, I believe it was Ananias. Don't quote me, but I believe it was Ananias. He sent him, to go and open up his eyes so that he could see. And so as a result of that, he faithfully devoted his life to Christ. And he was just a really, really strong warrior. And he went out there and he shared the truth of God. He went to destinations here and far. He helped start and plant churches in many cities in the Bible. And so he was really a strong gentleman. He was really a smart guy. He studied under really, really great educators at that time. And he was just this person that everybody looked to be this strong warrior, right? And so this scripture that I'm reading to you, or that I've read for you in 2 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 6-7, it talks about how Paul was in a state of mind. In this scripture, it's referencing how, he was at war within his mind, but God sent Titus to him to remind him, who he was, to remind him of the strength that he had and the power that rests in him because of who he believed in. And so just like us, in our seasons right now today and where we are in life, we're going to need a Titus. We're going to need someone to bring us comfort. We're going to need someone to encourage us. We're going to need someone to hold our arms up. And so I want to be an encouragement to that person who is pushing people away in this season, where you need to be healed, where you need that help, where you need that encouragement, that love, that hello, that smile, that hug, even though, we're kind of staying distant from one another, that virtual hug, whatever it is that you can do to open up your heart so that you can receive. There's really a lot of people say, let's talk about self-help real quick. If we look at the area of self-help, and I'm being me, I'm just chilling. We're having conversation here on the Healing Incubator podcast. And if you're just tuning in, I'm Kiana F. Brown, your forgiveness expert, and we are talking about who's holding your arms up. And so right now I want to talk about, or I'm talking to those people who are not allowing for people to be that strength, to be that comfort, to be that rock in their lives. If you're not allowing yourself to be open and you feel that you can do everything on your own, some people say, I'm self-made, I'm self-taught, all of these things. If you are self-made and if you are self-taught, that means that you had no input from any output or any area externally from you to get where you are. Right. And so even if you want to feel that you can do this on your own, I understand the power of prayer. I understand getting into your word, because that helps me. But that's just a tool. And if you realize, if you're getting into your word, you're not doing it on your own. If you are listening to different videos, you're not doing it on your own. If you have someone who's just listening to you vent, you're not doing it on your own. So I want to remind those who feel that they can walk through this healing journey alone, that this is not a soulless a thing that you can do. This is not a soulless adventure. This is an adventure that's going to need a person to help hold your arms up. So I want to encourage you to unlock your heart, to unlock your mind, to be free to the idea of someone saying, I'm here to help you. There are so many of us who disregard the help that we could have because of the strength, because of the pride we have. Oh, I got this. I can do this. I am powerful all by myself. God has made me fearfully and all of that is great. You are made wonderfully. You are made fearfully. But in the midst of things, we also need to remember that God didn't just make one human. He made two, right? He made man and woman. He saw that man could not do it alone. And so he brought forth an aid for him. And so I want us to remember in this season that we're going to need an aid. We're going to need help. We're going to need support. We're going to need that person to cry on. We're going to need that person to just listen. So I just want to encourage you all today to ask yourself that question. Who's holding your arms up? Who's holding you up? Who's keeping you supported when you want to cry, when you want to break down? Are you able to pick up the phone and reach out to someone? Are you able to go and tap into a resource on YouTube? Are you able to have a group of people on Facebook? There's so many different groups, and I'm not telling you to go join Forgiveness Nation group, but I wouldn't mind if you did. But there's so many places out there for us to tap into where we do not have to be alone. We do not have to walk through this healing journey together. Some of us may need therapists. Some of us may need counselors. Some of us may need mentors. Whatever that person is, or whoever you feel that you can lean on in this season in your life, I want to encourage you to do that. So guys, I thank you for tuning in today. We're going to be going through something serious in the next couple of weeks. Those of you who are listening to this live, that is great. That is awesome. All of the live recordings of the Healing Incubator podcast will be uploaded on Mondays now. I am switching things around. I am changing. I'm listening to the voice of God as He directs me to move in a different area. More so just allowing for ministry to be a part of everything that I do. And so we're going to do it in decency and order. So I will be celebrating Forgiveness Friday with you all every single Friday, if God willing, at 8 a.m. here on Facebook. Sometimes I might have a guest if somebody wants to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning with me, whoever's willing to share. And if that is you, if you want to share your healing journey, you can go ahead and message me on Facebook, or you can hit me up at info@KianaFBrown.com. Again, that's info@KianaFBrown.com. My name's right there. Take out it's the dot in there. info@KianaFBrown.com. No dot for the email. But yeah, I'll get back with you. And this is all about us coming together as a community to help one another heal. That's what Forgiveness Nation is about. That's our open Facebook group, on social media, on YouTube. There's some of you watching via YouTube because this is streaming to YouTube. There is also a plethora of videos of past shows going all the way back to Forgiveness Friday, where I was literally started out in the closet, went to a studio, and just some amazing things that have transpired over the years as I am tapping into this healing journey. And so over the next couple of weeks, as we come together, we will be talking about the topic, do you love yourself? Let me see. I'm going to make sure that I have that correctly because I want to give it to you all correctly. How to love yourself. How to love yourself. I've realized that over the past seasons, being so busy and operating and serving, that I forgot to serve myself, that I forgot to love me. And as a result of not loving me, there are things that happen. And so as I, studied the topic of loving yourself, not just from a biblical standpoint, not just from my perspective, but actually getting into studying from different clinical professionals in this area, I want to share it with you. And so that's what we'll be going over. There's so many different topics that we're going to talk about as it relates to loving yourself and the different sectors of how you can love yourself. And so I just wanted to share that with you all. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. I pray that something has been said that is going to help change where you are in this season of your life. Who's holding you up? We all need someone in our lives to hold us up. And again, I want you to go back and don't just take my word for it and read 2 Corinthians 7, and that's going to be 6-7. 2 Corinthians 7, 6-7. We will also go over various scriptures. There are so many things that God has been implanting in my life in this season. And I just want to share it because, we live by the word of our testimonies. We survive by hearing how other people have made it through. And again, if anybody's interested on joining me on any one of these Fridays, just connect with me and we'll see how we can share your healing story that may inspire someone else. And so I just want you all to be blessed. Remember that if you want to listen to the audio, this is going to be up every Monday. Again, we're no longer posting on Friday for the podcast. We'll be posting every Monday on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google, all the different places that we are for the podcast. So guys, I want you to be blessed. I want you to remember that I love you and that today is your stepping stone for a greater tomorrow. I want you to rock out and have an awesome Forgiveness